day, new video, round 2, let's go. I was so high, to be completely transparent. I was very faded. I recorded a whole video yesterday and I was like, absolutely not. We are trashing all of it. But then I was like, okay, wait. I literally just made a video about being authentic online, how I'm really trying hard to do that. So I was like, okay, this actually makes a really good point. So I'm gonna leave the intro because it kind of has a little bit to do with what I'm talking about today. So what I'm talking about today, let's jump right, let's see it, a little transition. I'm talking about revisiting old parts of ourselves and why there's some positive to it and some negative to it. Let's go. So recently I've been going through a lot of change in my life. We all know, ended the 10-year relationship. Here's the thing, I can't go in depth. I'm an oversharer and I'll admit it. Like I definitely overshare, but I feel like I overshare a lot internally with like my emotions, and I'm very open. Like if I'm a communicator, it's literally my name. I like to communicate. I like to communicate how I feel. I over communicate just so there's no like confusion. I hate confusion. I just want to say it how it is, and then we can build from that. But I just like to get it out there, get it off my chest. So I do overshare, but there's a lot in my life right now that I can't share online, and I won't share online because I can't, but I will share whatever I can about myself. I've struggled in the past and like my old relationships too about sharing too much about the relationship, and sometimes I forget, because the relationship is a huge part of me. I forget that the relationship requires, you know, 2 people, and if I want to air out this information about a relationship, I'm also putting that other person on a pedestal as well and shining a spotlight on them, which like a lot of people don't like that. I am like literally sitting here talking to like anyone in this world could click and watch this video, and I will happily tell you like what my shit looked like this morning. And I'm just an open book. Like I really don't care, but I realize a lot of people aren't like that. So I'm trying to like contain myself, but I want to be true to myself. I stopped making content for a while because I was like, okay, you know what? I can't be like this open, like I'm getting older. I can't be like rambling to random strangers on the internet. One, I don't think you guys, if you're watching this video, are a stranger, because let's be real, if you're watching this video, you probably clicked on it because you've been watching my videos. You're not like just scrolling on the internet and then you see a girl and you're like, oh, I want a life update from this like random ass girl. So I wouldn't consider you guys strangers. I consider you guys friends. Like a lot of you guys reach out to me on Instagram and say like, hey, like just checking in, or like, how are you doing? Or like, hey, I'm going through something similar. And like, and I try to reply to those messages like ASAP. I'm just like, yes, girl, want to call? I literally told someone once, like, do you want to like call? And I was like, wait, that's so weird. But like, of course I would say that because like we were just having such a good convo. I was like, girl, let's just talk on the phone. Like, come on. We are yapping back and forth. Anyways, so where was I even going with that? I think I was just trying to say that I'm very open online, and yeah, there it was. I tried to like hold back from making content for a little while, and I was just literally going insane. I felt like I wasn't myself. I was like, who even is Kate? Like, what the fuck is going on? Then I realized like it's because making videos, sitting, planning them, filming them, editing them, posting them, that's a huge hobby of mine, and it's a huge part of who I am. I love making content. I love speaking in front of a camera, and a lot of people don't understand that. Like, this is a hobby of mine. So like taking this away from me is like taking away a huge part of my identity, because this is literally who I am. This is what I do. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. So there's a lot going on in my life right now that I'm not at jeopardy to share, but I will say that I'm going through a huge transition period, and I'm trying to be kind to myself because I know this isn't easy. And this is partially why I make these videos, because I can look back on this in 5 years and be like, I love you to myself. Like I rewatch videos that I made when I was like 20 years old, which is like 5 years ago. And those videos, like, they literally just inspire me to keep going. I feel like the older you get, the more hardships you come across, the more life just like knocks you down and like guts you, and you're just like, is anything worth living for? I rewatch videos where I was like this young, carefree, oh God, the dog's throwing up. Okay, I'm gonna go clean that and I will be back. Okay, so like I was saying, I go back to the old Kate who like literally didn't give a fuck about anything, and I get re-inspired by her because she just had this amazing outlook on life, like so positive, so fun, didn't give a fuck about anyone's opinion, was just purely living for herself. And I get inspired by her. And I hope that in 5 years from now, I can come across this video and get inspired in some way, shape, or form about, you know, my life right now, even though it's literally in shambles. No, I'm just kidding. Things are good. I'm good. I feel good. It's, you know, it's a roller coaster, right? I felt like when I did my breakup video, it was so fresh that I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm on camera. And I feel like it's slowly starting to hit. I recently just like, we finally ended our lease. My stuff is out of the apartment. I got movers. So I actually like never even went and packed my stuff, which I was out of the country, which I feel like running from your problems is probably not the best way to go, because when I got back from my trip, it's just like, I feel like life just hit me, and I was like, okay, like that was a lot, because I was literally out of the country on the phone with the movers trying to tell them like what to pack, like as I'm like sipping on like some port wine. Like it was so much happened at once that when I got back, I think everything just kind of hit. So don't run away from your problems, like definitely face them. I'm grateful that I, you know, didn't have to go through any of that. But again, I do feel like I'm a strong person, as strong as I can be, but I would consider myself very strong because of the things that I've been through in life. And I feel like the moving, I like to feel I'm a Cancer. I actually don't like running from things. Like, I love to face them straight on. I feel like moments like that is how you grow. Like, whenever I notice myself maybe nervous for like an interview, or I actually love that feeling. I'm like, okay, 3, 2, 1, walk in. And like, just like that stuff excites me. So I feel like, you know, missing the whole packing my stuff and moving and like closing that chapter, I think it's gonna hit me slower than it would have if I just went and did the damn thing. But again, I was off living my best life, and I wouldn't go back and change that for a thing. So it is what it is. My stuff is still all in boxes all over. Like, some of it's at my mom's, some of it's in my car, like everything is just scattered. So I feel a little bit scattered as well, because, you know, when you're like living out of a suitcase and you're like, you, again, I'm a Cancer, so like we love our home, like we are shelled at heart. And my home is my everything. And I feel like right now, there's no place that I truly call like my home. And that's kind of fucking with me a little bit, but I'm doing the best of what I can with what I have. I'm being very, very kind to myself. I am smoking weed again, which, hear me out, I was a huge stoner back in the day when I was in college. Like, literally weed got me by. Like, wake up, bong toke, breakfast, bong toke, you get it. And then I just went totally sober, and I didn't smoke any weed, nothing. Didn't buy my own weed, just completely out of my life. And I started getting really into the gym. See, the problem with me is I have an addictive personality, so I have to be into something, right? So if it wasn't weed, it was gonna be like fitness, which is like pretty good alternative. But I'm going through this transition period. Like, I have no routine right now. I'm trying to get on my routine, but I really don't have anything set right now. And that's really hard on me. And I feel like I did when I was in college. Like, I'm literally living out of a suitcase. I say living out of a suitcase, like I have a lot of stuff that wouldn't all fit in a suitcase, obviously. But like, I use that term, like I use it sparingly, because I definitely, if we're gonna take it literal, I'm living out of like 7 suitcases, but I just say like living out of a suitcase. But I'm really like, I have a lot of stuff where I'm staying. But I think what pulled me to like wanting to smoke again is that I feel so scatterbrained and minded that the only way to like cope with this craziness is smoking again, because I'm just kind of like numbing myself, right? If we get to like the bottom root of it, I'm numbing myself, because right now I don't know what to do. I'm just like, I'm trying to get over a relationship, jumping into something new. Like, I have no idea what's going on. And I'm just smoking. I caught myself really fucking fast. Like, I did like the full like smoke every day for like a week or so, and I was like, whoa, I am turning into my old self. It's also really hard for me to hop on a camera and film when I'm faded, as you saw from my intro. So I realized really quickly, like, this isn't gonna be sustainable. I picked up like over $100 worth of bud, and I was like, instantly regret it. Probably gonna give it to my brother. I can't say that. Just burn someone out right now. See, I have a problem with doing that. Gonna bleep out their name. I'm talking a lot. I need water. So I also just got back from New York, and I saw my roommate from San Francisco, who I lived with for like a couple years, and she knows me. Like, obviously, like, we shared a fucking bed. We are like this. So she knows me. She's been through a lot of stages in my life. And we've always stayed in communication since, you know, we were like 19 years old. So it's really sweet and cute, and I love her to death. But I went to go visit her also in January. So January is when I like moved in with my 10-year long partner, and I was getting really serious. I like was like, okay, marriage is around the corner. I'm gonna be like the perfect like girl, so that, you know, I can get a ring, right? Like, I'm just doing all like the little like wifey things on a girlfriend salary. But, you know, I went to go visit her during that time. And then I went to go see her just a few days ago. And she was like, this version of you, like, I'm loving. Like, you are back to your old self. You're like good spirits. Like, and then she was honest. Like, she said, like, when I visited her back in January, just a few months ago, like when I was in my long-term relationship, she's like, you just wasn't it. Like, you just weren't you. And I think I knew that. I was so out of touch with myself because I was trying to be, you know, a certain way to get a certain outcome of what I thought I wanted in life. And I totally trust the universe, God. I don't like saying like any like religion or, you know, I just keep it open for whatever you want to like think. But I'm very trusting of, I just like to say the universe, because God is the universe. Any like whatever. I don't even want to get into religion right now. I trust the universe, and I trust in divine timing, following your gut, and I trust that all life experiences we attract, whether we want them or if we don't. If you're thinking about it, if you're talking about it, you will attract it into your life. So when this breakup happened, like, as sad as it was, I totally trust in the universe. Like, if this is what was supposed to happen, let's go. Take me where you gotta take me. But I am very intentional with the way that I think. I want to be taken in a direction that feels good. And in order to do that, because we are like sending these signals out at all times, right? I was just talking to someone, it's like, we're like Wi-Fi. Like, we are constantly radiating this signal. And if you're radiating positivity, you will attract positivity, and you'll start leading in the way of like a positive life. If you're constantly radiating negativity, you're going to wonder, like, why do these things keep happening to me? Like that woe is me mindset, victim mindset. And it's because like you are attracting that into your life. I fully believe that. So I come across people that I'm like, oh, you are not my cup of tea. I never put that on them. I always put that on myself. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I was clearly thinking, and I reassess myself. Like, in order for me to get into the situation that makes me feel lucky, how did I even put myself there? What thoughts what was I thinking? You know, what? And I've just been getting really into spirituality lately. I feel like if I'm not doing the psychedelic thing, which I would do a lot in college, hear me out. We get so caught up in the day-to-day of life, and it's hard not to, right? Especially with adulting. Like there's so many things that come up, like work, all this stuff. And I feel like a psychedelic twice a year resets you and like, you know, gets you in touch with nature again. And it's so fast. Like I know people who spend like thousands on like retreats that like you just like don't bring your phone and like you go through this like 3-week long cleanse, and I'm just like, acid tap. Like literally that's all you need. You know, to each their own, no hate, but I do think that psychedelics are really important because it brings you back to reality. And I've never not taken a psychedelic and didn't change after in a good way. Like I've always had crazy bad trips, don't get me wrong, but I've always come out of it on the other side with a new perspective on life. And I think that's just like so important. But psychedelics are scary, and I'm not like, I actually stopped because right now I feel like I am not in the place to take one. And I feel like I really haven't, to be 100% transparent, I haven't been in the place to take one since I started working, because I, you know, have taken on so much more responsibilities and then when I was in college, because I like just was like living by the day, and I still try to do that as much as I can, but like when you're working in a work setting, like you're constantly planning for the future. And anyways, I don't want to get into that, that's a whole other topic, but I haven't, and I really haven't been in the right headspace to take a psychedelic. But why did I even, I was saying I've been really into spirituality. I try every morning when I wake up to listen to like one like Abraham Hicks lecture, just because that keeps me in touch. Starting my day off with like a very broad look on life has helped me so much. Like when I do go into work and there's people like stressing about like things that we're like, we don't gotta stress it. Like we're not saving the world today, Amy. We're helping kids, but we're not saving no world. Actually, we like in retrospect, like we are saving the world. But like, okay, this doesn't work for nonprofit work. This works if you're like working for like Maybelline and you're like if I was like a social media coordinator for like a makeup brand, right? Like we're not saving the world today, Susan, you can chill. But like, I feel like my work's really important, so I'm not gonna like discredit that. Anyways, but I do feel like people, and like not even in the workplace, like on the drive to work, like people are like honking, and I'm like, chill. Like you clearly just are just not seeing the bigger picture. And a lot of times when I'm talking to people, I'm like, you have never sat down and like tripped on a shroom before. Like, but seriously, like a lot of people, you could just tell they're so out of touch with like life and the importance of it. And I'm gonna be completely honest, as someone as outgoing as me, I spend a lot of time by myself. Like I really spend a lot of time by myself, and I think people are really shocked to find that out. I've been getting like these memes, and it's like when you protect your peace so much that like you're spending every day like just with your dog, and like I don't ever want to be that person, because I understand that life is, I truly believe it is about connections and community and like having your people. But I'm just at this point where like, until I feel like we align, like I'm really not gonna waste my time. I've just done that far too often and put so much energy where people are just lacking, and I'm trying to like build them up to like match what I can offer. Didn't get me anywhere. Like those people aren't even in my life anymore. So I've just like been very selective about, you know, where I put my energy and who I put it into. Hi Dexter, I'm almost done. So I just feel like however way you can revisit old parts of yourself, if you used to journal, like reading old journal entries. For me, like I watch old videos, maybe pick up old hobbies that you used to do. Sometimes even like with skincare routines, like when my skin started to act up, I think back, like when was my skin the clearest? And it was like, oh yeah, like senior year of high school, like, oh my God, I would like oil it with vitamin E oil every night before I go to bed. Like, let me try doing that. Like I always am revisiting old parts of myself. Like, and then sometimes I'm like, wake up and I'm like, my face is broken out. And I'm like, well, that didn't work. Clearly I've changed. But sometimes I'm like, wait, baby Kate was so smart for that. Like, this is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? That is such a simple way to put it, but I think that is so spot on to what I'm trying to say. Revisit the good, revisit the bad, see what works for you now, see what doesn't, you know. And you know, hopefully you've changed for the better. And I hope that, you know, revisiting old parts of yourself will make you cringe a little bit, like, ooh, I'm glad I've changed and grown. And I think that's the whole purpose of it. But you know, sometimes it takes going back to realize why you got out of that, or why you moved away from that person, or why you know stopped doing the things that you were doing. And it keeps you going forward. Like the whole weed thing, like smoked heavily for like a week or so and then quickly realized like why I stopped. Like I am so unmotivated. I am not being good about my health. I'm just snacking. Like I was never doing that before. And it just brought me back to a place where I was like, okay, maybe we'll chill with that. Maybe we won't go down that road. But I tested it out. And I realized quickly that it just wasn't for me anymore. Life is literally a game. It is literally a game, and we just have to learn how to play it. Oh my God, I was gonna end the video right there, but then I'm like, wait, like, how do you play the game of life? I can't leave a video with a question like that. How do you play the game of life? Focus on how you feel, because naturally as humans, like we want to feel good. Our inner being wants to just radiate good energy. And when you don't feel good, and I talk about this in probably every single video I have, when you don't feel good, it's because you're not aligned with your true self. And if you have a hard time thinking about like, what is my true self? Like, how do I even I always think about Dexter. Like Dexter, my dog, he purely just lives in the moment, right? He is naturally good feeling because he has like food, water, all the basics that he needs. And he's just like living in the moment. Like he's just like always like, what are we doing today? I'm ready to go, happy. Because it's all about you not being present. That's all that it is. Because if you're feeling some type of hate, you're thinking about probably something in the past. If you're worrying, you're probably thinking about something that hasn't happened in the future. If you just focus on how you feel right now in this moment, like, hey, I'm just in line at Target, picking up deodorant. Life is fucking good. I'm alive, I'm breathing. I'm clearly sweat if I'm getting deodorant, and that's a good thing. That means I can move my body. Like, what is there to stress about right now? Okay, maybe I'm gonna be late to work. Is the sun still gonna fucking shine today? Yes, it is. Amen, baby. That was so good. Okay, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. That was literally a ramble about fucking life, but those videos are my favorites.